So guys, I know I've been away for quite some time, and I know I haven't been posting nearly as much, mainly because of two reasons. Number one reason we'll talk about later in this video. The other reason is because I'm kind of ashamed. I'm kind of ashamed of how many fragrances I bought in the past couple months, and now I'm going to tell you all about it, and hopefully by sharing my shame, I can get to the first step of acceptance and realizing that I have a problem. I know I've made these videos before. I'm sure many of us fragrance YouTube people have done this before, but I'm starting to realize that I have a problem, guys. Stay tuned. What's going on, YouTube? I'm Joshua, and as always, this is your channel, my channel, everyone's channel, ScentSense. To all my loyal subscribers who continue to stick with me through thick and thin and continue to watch even though I haven't been posting nearly as much, guys, to you, the loyal sensations, salute. To all you new people who are maybe checking out the channel for the very first time, or maybe you've been thinking about it, not too sure what you want to do, listen guys, I'm not like my gallbladder. I'm gonna stick around. And that leads me to the reason why I haven't been around very often, guys. In the past couple months, I've had two emergency room visits. 2 times where things got a little dicey. Come to find out, I had an issue with my gallbladder, and after a little zip, 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 they pulled that sucker out. Nope, you won't die if you get rid of your gallbladder. A lot of people do it, apparently. So 25 pounds of weight loss later, a diet that has really sucked later, and a gallbladder gone later, guys, I'm perfectly okay. But that leads me to my next point. With all that extra time on my hands, laying in a bed, trying to recuperate, I bought 1 too many fragrances. Okay, not just 1 too many, like 20 too many. But you know what? I'm gonna share what I got with you. And maybe you can help me choose what I should review. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab these in no particular order and just go over them for a few seconds and tell you what I think about them. Little quick intro to each bottle, and then at the end of the video in the comment section below, let me know what you want to hear about. And I'll try to do a video on the one that the most people suggest. Starting it off is a fragrance that I received from the kind people over at Perfumes. No, they don't pay me to talk about it, but they do from time to time send your boy a free bottle. It's from a house that I have reviewed from Perfumes. It's a house that the last fragrance I received was no bueno. I made a video about it. I wasn't sure that they'd ever reach out to me again, but because they value my honest opinion and because they want to let people know that they're not into people who are biased, they let me talk about that other fragrance. I'm sure if you look around on my videos, you'll see which one I'm talking about. No need to dredge that up. But the fragrance that I have now, I'm kind of feeling it, and I'm not going to say more than that because I don't want to spoil it. But the fragrance we're talking about is Vanilla Vibes. Vanilla Vibes is exactly as it sounds. It's a summery scent, as you can tell by looking at the bottle, but one of the main notes, if not the main note in this, is vanilla. I know what you're thinking, man, I'm not too sure about vanilla in a summer fragrance. Vanilla is kind of decadent, it's kind of more of a gourmand scent. It's more of a, you know, fall or winter scent kind of thing. Guys, I think you're wrong, and I'm gonna talk more about it in an upcoming review. This one I'll definitely review, so no need to let me know below that you want me to, because I will be. But guys, one thing I have to show you about these bottles is check this out. Look at that mist. It is so beautiful. I don't know how they get such great sprayers, but that's one thing they definitely do right at Juliet Has a Gun. Yeah, again guys, Vanilla Vibes. Another pickup of mine will definitely be in my top 10 niche fragrances for summer list, which will be upcoming either this week or next week. The fragrance comes from the house of Tom Ford. It's from the Private line. I know people are gonna say it's a designer house, but I think the Private line is pretty niche if you ask me. The fragrance we're talking about is Soleil de Positano from Tom Ford. It's so good. I love this fragrance so far, guys. This is such a great summertime unisex fragrance. I think my wife is in love with it more than I am. She's actually used it quite a bit so far. I personally like it a lot. I'll talk more about it in an upcoming video for my top 10 for niche for summer. But you know what? I just wanted to talk about it and briefly let you know, that I picked it up. That again is Tom Ford's Soleil de Positano. Another pickup that I'm super excited about, because if you're fans of the channel or you're newcomers to the channel and you've watched a few videos, you know that I am a huge fan of the note of fig. It's quite possibly my favorite note. I think it's so beautiful. It can be used in so many different ways, and this is probably one of the most photorealistic fig notes that I have ever smelled in my life. The fragrance comes from the house of Carner Barcelona, and the fragrance is Fig Man. Fig Man comes from the house of Carner Barcelona, and one thing that they do very, very well is make things that are so great and smell so great in nature smell so natural. Yeah, I know, nature, natural, redundant, just steals it. The cap itself is actual wood. I know this because a piece of it splintered off and got stuck in my freaking finger. So it is a legit wood cap. Not to delve too deep into this because I will be reviewing it and I will be talking about it again as one of the fragrances in my top 10 niche for summer list. This has got to be the most photorealistic, natural note smelling fragrance I've ever smelled. This smells like you literally pulled a fig directly from a branch straight in the middle of the morning while it's still dew on the tree, and that smell is in the air and there's a gentle breeze. This beautiful stuff. I'll talk about it later, guys. Fig Man, Carner Barcelona. Another niche pickup is a fragrance from a house that I have many, many fragrances from, and many of us have many fragrances from. It's often overlooked because it smells kind of like one of its brothers, and also because there's just a lot of other fragrances from the house. Dallas over at the channel Chaos Fragrance, shout out, talked about this a lot, and I just had to get my nose on it, and I gotta say he was 100% right. I think that this is a fragrance that Millésime Impérial should have been. I know George over at the Fragrance Apprentice will vehemently disagree with me, but this is quite possibly one of my top favorite fragrances from the House of Creed. If you haven't guessed it already, you should have. The fragrance is Irofa. Irofa is salt, watery, ambergris bomb goodness. This is just so great. I have to say I'm in love. I gotta say I'm gonna be wearing it a lot during the summertime. This is gonna be so refreshing to wear. Guys, you should definitely check it out if you haven't. This will also be in my top 10 for summer niche. This is so good. You should definitely get your hands on a decant if you haven't smelled it, or smell it at a store if you can. That is Irofa from Creed. Let's keep the niche train rolling with my favorite pickup of 2019, and in my opinion, so far, this is the best fragrance that I have smelled in the year 2019. It is beautiful. This is everything that Baccarat Rouge 540 should be. Triggered! I know all you fanboys out there for MFK are gonna think I'm crazy. They've got their own gang on Facebook, like a group, like straight up like doing like gang signs, MFK, like talking about like shanking Aventus lovers. Like these people are intense about that Baccarat Rouge 540. But this is everything that it should have been. Everything that Baccarat Rouge for a man to wear should have been. You get everything that you get from 540 for the middle of this fragrance to the dry down, but out of the gates you're gonna get a lot more masculinity. There's leather in this, there's some birch in this. This is beautiful, and I mean, just look at this bottle, man. This is just attention to detail. As a long and loved and departed Mark Ingram said, the guy who left my Saints to go to those pesky Ravens, it's in the details. The cap weighs more than the actual bottle, but I mean, it is just gorgeous, guys, and the scent is definitely one to match to that. I'll be definitely reviewing this upcoming. This is a beautiful, beautiful scent. So if you're a fan of 540 and you're looking for a little bit more to it, and actually better longevity, in my opinion, for my skin, this is Spirito Fiorentino by Tiziana Terenzi. I just realized that I didn't do the whole "it's this" at the beginning, and you know what? Oh well. Just roll with it. Spirito Fiorentino. Man, the niche fragrances just keep on coming. This was actually a gift to me from one of my good buddies, Mr. Near Guy. He's a cool dude. Man, we just have great talks about the fragrance industry, about fragrances in general, and just people in the community. He's such an awesome guy. He wanted me to have it because he knew how big of a fan I am of this house, and I'll be talking about this house ad nauseum this year because I've got to say, in my opinion, as far as whole brands that have come out recently, and maybe even in the past 3 or 4 years, this has to be one of the coolest brands. And if they don't climb the charts of fragrance houses and they don't get the notoriety they deserve, I will be extremely shocked. The fragrance we're talking about is Cheeky Smile from Juicebox. As I've talked about ad nauseum, Feel and Chill, 14-Hour Dream, Cheeky Smile is another one, man, that just hits like a champ. This is 100% synthetic. It's got literally, it's like if one of the long lost Molecule 01 fragrances, like the Molecule 01, 02, 03, this would be one of them. This fragrance, from what I understand, is the notes of this runs through the DNA of every other fragrance, which makes it really, really cool. It's actually a glow-in-the-dark bottle. When I do a review of it, I'll try to, show everybody how that looks. But as for now, we're just gonna say hello and goodbye to Cheeky Smile by Juicebox. Next up is a highly sought-after designer scent. Hard to get in the States, readily available in Europe, but when it comes to availability in the States, it's kind of hard to get your hands on it, and you're gonna spend close to $100, if not more, for a bottle. Well, I went ahead and bought a partial, and then I traded to get a full bottle because, you know what, I just fell in love. The fragrance is Dior Homme Parfum. So I'm pretty sure I don't have to hold 2 bottles. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain this. This is suit and tie, sophistication, cocoa powdery goodness. I have fallen in love with what this fragrance brings to the table, and I'm starting to open my mind more and more to iris, and I think that this is beautiful. This is definitely something I'll be wearing for date nights upcoming. This is super, super great. I think this is fantastic for those cooler nights. Fragrance we're talking about, as I just stated, was Dior Homme Parfum. The next one up is a fragrance that I've heard lots of good things about. I wasn't the biggest fan of it when I first smelled it, but the more and more I've smelled it, the more and more it's grown on me. It's from a designer house. It's from the replica line from Maison Margiela. That is Jazz Club. As you can see, guys, it's a partial. I'm trying not to buy full bottles, so it's not a whole lot left. It's about 30 mils, but you know what? When you have over 100 bottles and clearly a terrible addiction, that's plenty enough juice. As Max 40 would say, this is a perfect quintessential fragrance to wear if you're going to a jazz club. Nothing but love here, Max. Anyway, guys, that is from the replica line, Jazz Club. Looks like I lost a niche fragrance there in the couch. This one right here is also a partial. It's a small amount of juice left. It's about 20 mils. But this one right here is one that I absolutely love. This is probably one of my favorite vetiver-based fragrances. This is as they call it, a semi-modern vetiver. This is wearable. This is not so old man. This is from the house of Etat Libre d'Orange, or Eldo for short, Fat Electrician. Fat Electrician is, as it says, it is vetiver, man. It is so good. It's so good, guys. If you haven't smelled Eldo, you need to get a discovery set. You or someone like you, Fat Electrician, Remarkable People, these are all great fragrances. This is vetiver done right, guys. You should check it out. Going back to the same house, we got Remarkable People. Guys, this video is going to be long. So again, I apologize. And I'm not BSing you. I literally just bought all of these. Remain Calm. As you can see, this is the little bitty bottle. I think this is a 30 mil. Yep, 30 mil bottle. This is champagne. This is bubbly. This is vibrant. This is effervescent. This is just a nice fragrance, man. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like things are happening, things are going well. This is a great fragrance. If you're looking for something light and zesty, you should definitely check it out. Remarkable People from Etat Libre d'Orange. As many of you know and friends of the channel know that I am a big proponent of the house of Versace. I think it's the best value in the designer realm. I think everything they touch is gold. And what's funny is the 2 fragrances that I'm about to show you that I got from this house kind of smell very, very similar. And I have to be honest with you, I think the older one is better. The fragrances we're talking about are Versace Oud Noir and Versace Man. This is the very first guy in the Man line. The more popular, younger sibling is Man Au Fraîche, but this one right here, guys, is classy, sophisticated in a bottle. It makes me feel like a whole man when I wear this, and so does this, but I find that this one's a little more screechy, a little more synthetic-like. It does dry down to something that's really close to oud wood, but if I had to pick, I like this one better. This being a flanker of the Pour Homme line and this being the original of the Eau Fraiche line, I find that this one is a little more original than this one. Again, that's Versace Man and Versace Oud Noir. Speaking of grown man fragrances, I got two more fragrances for you. The very first one is, again, another partial, as you can see. That's about 20 mils of a 50 milliliter bottle. This is Allure Homme from Chanel. No, this is not Allure Homme Sport or Eau Extreme or Edition Blanche. This is the guy who started it all. The one who gets forgotten in the dust. The originator. This one right here is a smooth, silky, slightly heavy, man's man fragrance. I love this one. To be honest, it's quite shocking that this one has anything to do with the latter ones, but this one right here is one that I used to love. My dad wore this when I was in high school, and I thought I smelled so cool when I stole some from him. You know, I'd sneak in his room and spray it on. Of course, the girls didn't think I smelled so great, but I did. Maybe it was the future frag head in me, but this right here is one that I had to have in my collection. If you're into smelling like a full-grown man, this is one you should check out. Yet another one that I got is the discontinued gem, one that's often sought after, from the house of YSL, that is M7. No, this is not the reformulated M7 Oud Absolu. This is M7. This is the guy that started it off. This is the one that brought oud to the Western world. I think it's pretty doggone good. Like I've said, this is a man's man fragrance. This is something that will grow chest hair. This is good stuff. I'll be talking about it upcoming. I got both of them, so I'll let you know what I think is better, if there's a big difference, if it's worth the price jump. Anyway, guys, YSL's M7. A designer from a designer house that constantly puts out fragrances that smell a lot like other fragrances, but also at a much cheaper price, and usually is a great bargain. The fragrance comes from the house of Mont Blanc, and if you haven't guessed it immediately, here it is, guys. That's Explorer. From what I understand, this smells a whole lot like Creed's Aventus. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with it, but from what I understand, it's a lot like this. I got this from my buddy Jacob Bryant. If you don't know him from the Facebook fragrance groups, he is an amazing country artist. You should go check him out on YouTube. His name is Jacob Bryant. I'm telling you, if you're into country music at all, or guys with really good deep voices who can sing really well, guys, he's really good. And apparently, this fragrance is really good. He just wanted to get rid of it because he, as me, has an addiction. So, he, like me, has an addiction. So anyway, guys, that is Mont Blanc's Explorer. It seems like they just keep coming. I grabbed this one because my buddy James over the channel, J Royal, ranted and raved about it, and although it's super redundant for me to own it, because I own so many that smell so much like it, I had to get it because the originator from this line is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. That's Bulgari Aqua, and the fragrance we're talking about is Aqua Atlantique. This is supposed to smell a whole lot like Dior Sauvage, Versace Dylan Blue, Prada Carbon, and it's got those same vibes, but it's got that saltiness from the original. So it's kind of different, but it's kind of the same. So I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm gonna give it a few more test spins. We'll let you know how I feel about it. Let me know if you want to hear more about it. Comment below. Another one from the replica line, and yet another partial. This I got from my good buddy, Mr. Mark Mobley. He's a really nice guy. He sells lots of partials on Facebook, and he also has a very great website for buying decants. He didn't pay me to say that. I'm just telling you because he's a good dude. I'll leave the name of him below here. But this is Under the Lemon Tree from the replica line from Maison Margiela. As it says on the bottle, this is supposed to be a relaxing and bright lemon fragrance. This is very, very clean and zesty. I think this is something that I'm gonna wear and reach for when it's really, really hot out. I'll probably have to reapply because I'm sure it's not gonna last forever, especially out in the hot Louisiana summer heat. But apparently, this is one that's really, really great, and I'm definitely gonna rock it this summer. It's probably gonna be in my top 10 designer list, because I know I'm gonna wear it a lot, and I usually list ones that I'm gonna wear. Not necessarily what I think is the best, but the top 10 that I'll wear this summer. So anyway, guys, that's Under the Lemon Tree. An exciting fragrance that I'll be talking about next week from the House of Parfums Vintage is a new release that is a quintessential beast mode version of a fragrance that everyone knows and everyone loves, and I'm surprised it took this long for them to make it. The fragrance we're talking about is Alpine Winds. So if you're a part of any Facebook fragrance groups, I'm sure you've already heard ad nauseum about it, but it's a Silver Mountain water clone, or interpretation. I find that it's better. And I'll talk more about that in a review, and hopefully all you triggered people will actually watch it before you make assumptions based on this, and I probably should have just not said that. But regardless, guys, stay tuned. And last but not least is a super easy to wear fragrance. I'm surprised that I took so long to buy this. This is probably the closest thing to a, neroli killer, a fragrance that everyone reaches for before, your Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. This is supposed to be that clean, fresh, soapy guy, and so far I love it. And crazy as it may be, I often wear it to bed, man. I kind of feel like I just want to leave it by my bedstand, and just every time at night, nightstand, I want to reach for this guy. The one I'm talking about is Mugler's Cologne. Mugler Cologne is exactly what it sounds like, man. It is a green, fresh scent. It's a cologne, man. It's just really easy to wear, and I think that I'm just gonna really rock it a lot as a bedtime scent. Some of you may think that's crazy to wear a fragrance to bed, but you know what? I think it makes me feel more relaxed and at ease, which is what you're trying to do when you're trying to go to bed. That about does it for me. 20 or so fragrances later, guys, I have a problem. All jokes aside, I did go ahead and sell a lot of bottles that were just collecting dust that I wasn't really wearing. So you know what I did? I sold those, and I took the money that I made from that and bought new bottles. I didn't spend any out-of-pocket money, and some of them were trades. So in all actuality, I was just moving bottles out and moving bottles in. So no harm, no foul. But at the end of the day, maybe I should have just kept that money and, not bought any more bottles. But you know what? I'm a frag head. What can I say? And I like to bring new stuff to you. So speaking of new stuff, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. What fragrances do you want to hear about? Which fragrances piqued your interest? Which ones made you feel like, man, I'd really like to know more about it? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Whatever one gets the most comments, that's the one that I'll talk about. Thank you so much for sticking around and hopefully enjoying this video. I will be putting out way more content than I have in the past few weeks. I'm trying to get back to that 3 to 4 videos a week. I was sick, guys. I'm sorry. I had surgery. I had a piece of my body removed. I had an organ removed. So I was kind of not up to it. And frankly, if you're still offended by that and you were still butthurt that I didn't make videos, well, I don't give 2 wet farts. I don't care. But for you who understand, I'm sure you realize it's perfectly reasonable. Alright guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to stick around and you want to know when my videos come out and you can catch all that future content. If you don't want to, no problem, I understand. But if you do subscribe, or you are subscribed, go ahead and smash that notification bell. That way, when my videos come out, guys, ladies, germs, you will be the first to know. And as always, and most importantly, I'll smell you later. Peace!